All right. Are you able to see that?
Your slides are up.
Okay. All right, so welcome everyone. I'm Jill Jones, a Senior Product Manager for FirstSearch and WorldCat.org, and I'm here to share what we're doing in discovery. So today we'll talk about the suite of end
Jill,
user. Yes?
your slides aren't moving. We just see like the actual
So
PowerPoint thing.
okay, let me try something else. Sorry, I'm not as used to using Zoom. Okay, can you see the slides again?
Yep, that looks great.
Okay. How about that?
Yep.
Did it move?
Yes.
Yay. Okay, so we're going to talk about the solutions that come with your subscription, the recent updates we've made in WorldCat Discovery, including updates to advanced search. And then we'll talk about worldcat.org and our visibility program, and then we'll have time for questions. So first, let's talk about the suite of end user solutions and what comes with your subscription. If you have a FirstSearch WorldCat Discovery subscription, you get both the FirstSearch and WorldCat Discovery interfaces. And if you have a cataloging subscription as well, you get visibility in worldcat.org and on our partner network. So FirstSearch provides precision searching of WorldCat with detailed results. It gives you a view of all library holdings for libraries throughout the world for items you identify in your searches. And WorldCat Discovery is a full discovery service that enables broad searching of WorldCat and an index of metadata and nearly 3,000 e-content collections from familiar content providers. It's also the user-facing interface for WMS. And it contains the kind of information typically needed by non-library staff and less experienced searches, and is a great way to search the resources in your collection. Visibility, as I mentioned, is included if you have FirstSearch, WorldCat Discovery, and cataloging subscriptions. And that means visibility on worldcat.org, as well as throughout our partner network, which I will talk about more later in the presentation. And this grid just shows what content end users can search in these interfaces. All of them search the entire WorldCat database. Both worldcat.org and WorldCat Discovery have articles, millions of articles from familiar databases or records of those articles. And the WorldCat Discovery has a central index of over 3,000 additional e-content collections. So what have we been doing with WorldCat Discovery? Quite a bit, actually. So this month, we're excited to launch a lightweight knowledge card experience. This feature will allow users to search for works by or about a person using URIs and MARC records. When available, these URIs will trigger a hover over knowledge card, offering users a more precise way to search by providing direct connections to the person URI. MARC Field 788 is parallel description in another language of cataloging. This improves discoverability of bilingual or multilingual bibliographic records, which is particularly useful in international or multilingual library environments. And this enables users to move easily between parallel descriptions in different languages through direct linking. Hyperlinked ISSN and OCN provide direct connections to corresponding records, improving efficiency for researchers and catalogers. MARC Field 546, the language note, is textual information on the language or notation system used to convey the content of the described materials. A description of the alphabet, script, or other symbol system may also be included. Because this is textual information, it allows for a more granular description of the languages used in an item or collection. So this has particular advantages for special collections. We also have a display enhancement for inclusive language. Libraries can now remap outdated or sensitive subject headings to more appropriate terms for users. And this update ensures a more inclusive and respectful user experience while maintaining search integrity. There are no changes to the underlying metadata. The original subject headings remain unchanged in the back-end metadata. This is a purely front-end display enhancement, masking sensitive terms without altering catalog data. Libraries can manage their preferred terminology using a spreadsheet template, and the updated mappings can be easily uploaded through the service configuration settings. In the example here, the FAST terms homeless children and homeless youth have been replaced with preferred terms children experiencing homelessness and young people experiencing homelessness. We've also recently introduced a new search expansion feature that enhances inclusivity by supporting locally preferred subject headings in search results. With this enhancement, searches using locally preferred terms will automatically retrieve results associated with outdated subject headings, ensuring comprehensive and accurate search recall. For example, if a user searches for people experiencing homelessness, the system will return results tagged with the subject heading homeless people. Without this mapping, the search would yield significantly fewer relevant results. This feature empowers libraries to promote inclusive language while maintaining the integrity and effectiveness of search retrieval. In order to improve search accuracy, book reviews and news articles have been removed from search results by default. Libraries can configure toggles to display, letting users expand searches as needed. Now, up next, we're going to talk about what we've been doing to advance search. We've been making some changes to advanced search to modernize it and to make it more consistent with the rest of the WorldCat discovery experience. So some of the things I'm going to show you today that we've been working on, our goals were to able to make it easy for searchers to perform complex queries quickly. We also wanted users to be able to modify their queries without starting over, which included having filters remain in place when modifying the searches, and then also make it easier to see what databases are being searched. So here you will see the current or legacy version of advanced search. When somebody went to modify a search, you can see that all the search terms that they entered, if they went back to the page to try and modify, would be all together in a sort of a command line in that top search term. So for people who are undergraduates or less experienced searchers, this probably didn't make a lot of sense to them and made it hard to use. So in the new experience, if they go back to modify a search, they'll see their search as they entered it with those terms in the search terms where they entered them, which it makes it easier to understand what they did and where they want to change things. Libraries can set the default search indexes. The user can select and populate multiple rows of search parameters, and we now have a clear display of which databases are being searched. So these are all changes that are there now in the preview phase, which I'll talk about in a moment. So right now we have a preview phase available, and I'll tell you how to get there in a minute. We'll have a voluntary rollover this summer, meaning people who want to adopt it and have it go live can choose to go live with the advanced search experience then. And then sometime later in the fall, we'll have everything done for all libraries to roll over. So if you'd like to access the preview, the way you can do this is use your library's WorldCat Discovery URL and add /Discovery Preview on the end. You can also go to the WorldCat Discovery Community Center to link to the preview and see it. So we encourage you to go to the Community Center to try it out and to provide us feedback. Again, since we're in the preview phase, we'll be using some of that feedback as we continue to develop the full product. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you have First Search WorldCat Discovery subscription and cataloging subscriptions, you're already participating in our visibility program. So I just wanted to give a refresher on what is included in that. So our web visibility program has 3 main components: the combination of the massive worldcat.org website, our extensive partnerships with popular websites, and our longstanding partnership with Google deliver web visibility at a scale no individual library could accomplish on its own. So worldcat.org, the foundation of our web visibility program, helps your library reach people on the open web. WorldCat.org started out in 2006, and we launched a new version in 2022. So I imagine many of you have used it already. And there are really 4 main benefits to this new site. One is improvements to accessibility. It's WCAG 2.0 compliant. We'll be upgrading that to the newer versions of WCAG. There's also, it's mobile accessible. The old site was not. And we have a mobile app, which I'll talk about in a moment. And then in search engine optimization will reach more people and deliver a good user experience on every device. It also gives library staff new tools to promote their libraries and collections directly to end users, connecting more people to their library. There are expanded opportunities for engagement that enable users to select their favorite libraries, prioritizing materials from those libraries in search results, and access to e-resources from preferred libraries based on a user's IP address enables authenticated users to view full text. As I mentioned, we also now have a mobile app, WorldCat Find, which is in addition to the mobile version of the website. We made some improvements to the app in the past year. So you can now you can now set up a user account, which you couldn't in the past, and it's connected to your worldcat.org user account. And you can also make and share lists as you can in the website. So those are some of the biggest ones, and you can set your location. So one change that we've had in the past year to worldcat.org is the display of staff curated lists on library information pages. Library staff can work together to curate lists that draw attention to its collections. And these staff curated lists now display on worldcat.org library information pages, in addition to other details about a library and a link to its catalog. So anything that might be in a library can go into a list, including scores, CDs, and other media. So I found a couple examples of music library lists on worldcat.org. Here's University of Louisville and University of Missouri, Kansas City, and some lists that their music libraries created. It's a great way of sharing what you would like to share at your library, whether it's new things or things for a course, and people can easily use that share link to share the lists in social media, in an email, and so on. Okay, so many of you would want to know your statistics from worldcat.org. How many people are getting from the open web to your library? So when people are on worldcat.org, they might have started out looking on worldcat.org, or they might have gotten there from any of our partner websites. So if they get there from Google or Wikipedia or Goodreads or NPR's Books We Love, etc., they can get to their local library from there. So we have 5,000 websites that drive traffic to worldcat.org and then on to the libraries near them. If you're an authenticated staff user, in worldcat.org, you should now see a tab called Insights that provides data about usage and how many people are finding materials in your library, finding your library's catalog, and so on. If you are in the Insights tab, you can get data for usage for the past year. If you need older data, more than a year, you should contact our customer support. So the sample data I'm showing right here is fake data. This is not a real library, but I'd like to explain what these things mean. The top row is general engagement with the library, so not looking for a specific item. But on the far left, where it says WorldCat profile visits, that means going to the library's profile on the library page in worldcat.org. The middle one, catalog visits, when they go to that library profile page, there's a button that says, visit library's catalog. It's not for a specific item, but it just takes the user to the library's catalog. And then on the far right, the list visits. If the library has created lists, how many of those have been visited? The bottom is where we get to specific item usage that people are looking for. So you can see e-links, borrow item. That is when somebody's looking for a specific item and there's that borrow button that takes them to the OPAC. That's the statistic there. And then we also have ILL requests and open URL resolver visits. So it's a nice new feature that makes it easy to find your usage. Okay, so like WorldCat Discovery, we now have entities in worldcat.org as well. And by the end of March, when a person entity displays in worldcat.org, we will use the URI to search WorldCat for works by or about that person for the next step in providing precision results. Another web visibility benefit is the addition of library links to Google search results. So as I mentioned, we've had a partnership with Google since 2003. And in 2022, we made some additions to this relationship in Google Search and in Google Books for libraries that are participating in this program. When people are searching for a book item in Google Search or Google Books, a knowledge panel displays with up to 5 libraries near them that hold that item. And when the user clicks on borrow, it takes them directly to the item in the library OPAC. So we currently have over 1,100 libraries participating in this program. Again, this is part of visibility. And we have both print books and ebooks in this program at present. And we're continuing to add new libraries to the program on a quarterly basis. So who's eligible for that? Again, if you have the subscriptions for visibility, which is First Search and WorldCat Discovery plus cataloging, that makes you eligible for visibility. And like I said, it's for print books and ebooks in US libraries right now. Google does have pretty strict quality standards, so they require that 95% of the links have to go directly to the item in the local catalog. So we have to do extensive internal testing to make sure that a library's links work before we pass them into the program. But we're doing that testing on a quarterly basis, and we continue to add new libraries. We also send the data to Google every single week, so we continually refresh that so that new holdings go in and items that are deleted can be removed. There are a number of things you can do to maximize your library's impact in terms of visibility. We know that not all users start their search at the library. A lot of them like to start on the open web. So we want to make sure that those users are getting to the item in their local library. One thing that is important is to keep holdings up to date. So for any library that has a cataloging subscription with OCLC, we offer a free streamlined holdings update. You can do it multiple times if you've done it before. We have had some libraries that have done this multiple times. It's not a full reclamation, but it does delete things from WorldCat that you've deleted from your collection. It can add new things to WorldCat, and it can give you updated OCNs for your OCLC numbers for your collection to add to your local records. You can also set up automated holdings feeds for your knowledge base collections. I do recommend that people look at the WorldCat registry at least once a year to make sure that the data there is up to date and make sure that links to the online catalog are configured, especially if you've done something like changing your ILS or something like that. Make sure that those links are up to date and you can test them to make sure that they're working. Like this affects both worldcat.org and the direct links in Google program. Also recommend that you confirm your library's location on Google Maps or that you request a Google map if you don't have one, especially if you're interested in participating in that direct links from Google program. And now I'd love to take your questions.
Thank you, Jill. Sorry, I have to click on the right button down here. We have a question from Mark Scharf. For field 788, when there are multiple records in a particular language in WorldCat, how do you choose the record to link to?
That is one where I'm going to have to get an answer and get back to you because I personally do not know the answer to that one. But I can ask somebody and do a follow-up.
It's just a matter of curiosity, nothing big.
Mark is very curious. We love him.
Well, I'm happy to get the info. I mean, I would like to know because I might get asked again. But I can if there are any questions that I don't know the answers to, of course, I can send an email to MOUG afterwards with the answers.
Morris do you want to answer, Morris?
Turning on my camera. So I don't know how many people are using this feature, but I know it is very popular with the Library and Archives canon. So they use this a lot to link the parallel titles between English and French records that they catalog.
Thank you. Question from the audience. Something I haven't been able to nail down is, how do worldcat.org results differ from subscription first search access results? Sometimes I get different results between the two.
Good question. I would say that one big difference is that first search does not cluster. It doesn't use Ferber, and worldcat.org does. So that is going to be one of the big differences there. First search is also the default. There's a couple of things about using a first search. When I search things in first search, and I get the detailed record, like it shows me the detailed record and it highlights my search terms in it, which is a little bit different than the way that worldcat.org searches. Also, I mean, worldcat.org is going to search based on relevancy, whereas first search, people tend to search based on the number of holding libraries. And a library can change that. There's a couple other ways that they can prioritize their search by relevance or date or accession number, but almost all libraries default to that by the number of holding libraries. So first search is really great for known item searches and putting in those limiters that you know you need. And because it doesn't Ferber, like if you're looking for a very specific edition, it's going to get you there, but that's not the way that worldcat.org is searching.
Thank you. We have a question from Michelle Hahn. Will there ever be an effort to display all of the linking titles, for example, 780, 785, in worldcat.org that our users look for and need these titles for discovery?
Okay. And again, that's good feedback. I don't know that we have, I don't think that's something that we have on our roadmap at this time, but I'd love to hear more about the need for that. But it could be that this is kind of more detailed than I personally work on. So it might be that the team has talked about this. So this would be something that I need to look up or talk to somebody about.